Okay, we are back here with Die Hard Dialogue. I am here with the handsome Emerson, who's in for my normal partner in crime. I like to call her Dr. J. It's sad to not see her, but I've always enjoyed when you've jumped in. That's okay. You have jumped
It's not my fault, man. It's not my fault.
You are both equally attractive, so.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. You said it. I'll agree with it. All right.
How have you been, Emerson?
I've been awesome, dude. I'm really looking forward to the week ahead. It's a great time of year, Christmas music and good football and cold weather.
Well, it's a good time of year unless you're a Jets fan. And I know my partner in crime this week is also, though, what a game. I can't wait to see what his energy is like off of this week. But I'm sad and mad and angry and devastated. And so the shows have been wild. You're catching me this is my third phase of a season, what I would call the numb phase. We lost this week to the Dolphins, who, by the way, are an atrocious football team. I watched the game very carefully. There's nothing impressive going on down in Miami.
Well, especially at the quarterback position. I don't know what's going on with Tua, man. I don't think he's the answer. And then you have Herbert, who was drafted right after him. So Dolphins fans hate that. That stings.
Yeah, kind of like taking Sam Darnold before Josh Allen, or Ken O'Brien before, Dan Marino, or my favorite one, Brett Favre getting picked right before you were going to take him and you settling for Browning Nagel. So, I'm very aware of feelings of quarterback misdecisions.
Well, dude, my Jags years ago drafted a punter in the 4th or 5th round, and Russell Wilson was still on the board.
And so that means Russell won the 3rd round. So did you take a punter in the 3rd round?
Yeah. It was pretty bad, dude. It was really bad.
Let's bring in my head-to-head competitor here on Die Hard. Because I am a huge fan of his acting career. I'm happy to hear. I DM'd him this morning. Rico, you're gonna have to look at your Instagram DM. I DM'd him this morning out of sheer excitement. I'm a true fan, and I'm not a fan of many things. So that's as big of a compliment as it comes in the Gary Vaynerchuk mold. And to find out he's a diehard makes me super fired up, and I'm ready to banter. Rico, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, my friend. Emerson, you want to give him a little love?
Yeah. Obviously, everyone knows this beautiful face. Just a beautiful squad today. Rico Rodriguez. Obviously, we know how successful you've been with your stint on Modern Family. It was half of your life. You're still only young. What are you? It's still 23.
Yep, 23. Just turned 23.
And Rico, when did you start the show? When you were 9, 10?
I filmed the pilot when I was 9, and we started the series when I was 10. And then we went on for 11 years.
Yeah. So what? And it just wrapped up last year, right? Here's an interesting story for you, just really quick. My wife loves the show, has refused to watch the finale because she's like, it's not over if I don't watch the finale.
You know what? I wish I could do that too. I'm not going to film the finale because there's not one.
Yeah. Dude, what have you been doing? How different has your life been now that the show is over? I'm assuming you have more time now to watch your Texans.
It's so crazy because I guess you could say it's a little more unpredictable of with how busy things can get and how things die down. And so right after, we were so lucky because when we filmed the finale for the show, it was right before the world shut down. Yeah. So we were able to film our finale, enjoy it, go and have our wrap party, which was over 250 people in the same room. That will never happen again. Mm-hmm. And it was to be able to do that without knowing what was coming was so nice to be able to have that closure with each other. And then the world shut down. And then, it was kind of everything slowed down and we're all at home and whatnot. And then now it's kind of goes through waves of everything, auditions and then none. And then it gets busy and then none. And then I get to do fun things like a podcast where I can come at home and, get to chit chat. And then with sports, when I was on the show, it was more a set schedule. Okay, I knew I worked Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So then if there was a game, I would try to hurry up and do my scene so I can get back home,
Rico, you're this big of a fan?
Oh yes.
I love you already.
You grew up right outside Houston, right?
Yeah, I live in Bryan College Station, which was about an hour and a half from Houston. So like whenever I don't have anything for the day, I'm that guy where I plan my day around a game.
Yeah,
so
like
when the Rockets play, they start at 7. So I need to make sure we have dinner set. We're home.
Are you full throttle? Astros, Texans, Rocket? Wow.
And the Aggies, because since we're here in College Station.
I was at the Celtics Rockets game last night. I was able to witness firsthand why they have only one win this season.
We have a tight window, so
yes, okay,
we're gonna go into the game, but let's go into it. Rico, I'll let you set up the lines and everything, Emerson, but I'm gonna ask Rico this: like, what happened last week,
dude?
We got to win, and
but like to who, where, and how?
I know.
Impressive.
I feel like with the Texans specifically, it's been such a wild season, and I don't think our record really shows how hard we've been playing. We just got hit bad. Tyrod, I have been so happy with him, and it was so devastating to see him get hurt and then out for those stretch of games. Because, obviously I'm always an optimistic fan. So, my thinking is, we may be close to a winning record. Had we had Tyrod, we may be in the thick of things, maybe trying to make a wild card or something like that.
Yeah, people forget now with 7 teams in the wild card, we're so out of it. And I've been out of it for a decade. But I remember, watching, the classic In the Hunt, which is, the inside joke with all my Jet friends, because – for 2 decades, we were actually fairly decent, but never winning the division because of the Patriots. So we were always in the hunt. Now teams that are 4-5 and 5-4 are in the hunt.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so it was nice to be able to see Davis Mills get the run and kind of I saw him a little bit during preseason. They play a lot, and then kind of getting in the game it just was tough breaks. It was really tough breaks. Not a lot of offense to back up our defense. We get hit for a lot of points, but then also when you gave them some rest and not just keep going 3 and out or not scoring or turning the ball over, it's our defense was able to hold tough. Last week, it was every time we needed a play to happen, we made it happen, and it was by a turnover. And it was I was cheering, jumping up and down, yelling at my sister, "We're gonna win! We're gonna do it!" I was so happy.
Listen, you're talking to a Jets fan and a Jaguars fan. We understand. You celebrate those rare victories. This is sad. This is a sad trio.
This trio is salty and angry.
I hate the world.
And optimistic. Rico, to your point of optimism, Mike White comes in, and I'm already dreaming about Linsanity and how he's going to do this and that. And then that drive against the Colts on Thursday night in front of the country. And I'm like, oh my God. And then of course, just classic Jets, some weird thing hit his nerve. And then, so anyway, Emerson, give us.
Yeah. And by the way, did you see the news today too? You got Flacco and White in COVID protocol. And then it's going to be Zach Wilson. They said Zach Wilson was set up to start either way. So it's going to be Zach Wilson under center. Tyrod's obviously back for you guys. Your team looks totally different with a healthy Tyrod. I do think this game will mean more to the 2022 NFL draft order than it will to the 2021 season. But when you're looking at the lines here on the DraftKings Sportsbook, Rico, you got your Texans 2.5-point favorites right now. Totals 44.5. Let's on the money line. You get plus money here, Gary, on your Jets plus 120 here. So, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Gary? You think your guys can go in there and at least cover? You can win by field goal, right?
The Jets defense is hurting. Played a little bit better this week. We saw more Quincy Williams at linebacker. It's just beat up. We're really hurt too. Really hurt. We're on our 7th and 8th safeties. Think about that.
No.
Think about that. We're
Did you go to the local arena team or something?
Yeah, we're on our 4th and 5th pass rushers. Our defense is completely beat up. Everyone's beating up the Jets and Robert Saleh coming from a defensive background, but I think people are incredibly confused about how many rookies we were starting. We're just completely bashed defensively. Offensively, the kid's still growing through his growing pains. He's coming back. He's going to be a little bit of rust. There's got to clearly be some hesitation. You get that first injury as a pro. The optimistic point of view is he watched from the sidelines and saw something, saw what the offense can do if you play it a little differently. I think there's one school of thought that the Texans got their big win right, last week. And so like you're catching them at the right time.
Like a letdown spot almost.
Yeah, like almost
right?
they're not a great football team. Now they think they've won this big game and now you've got a bad football team coming into your home. I'm struggling to see how the Jets are going to win the game, though. I think Tyrod, I actually agree with Rico as a Jets fan. We got a lot of him in Buffalo. I got to see him in Cleveland, where I don't know if you know this, but Baker Mayfield's rookie year, it was the Jets that hurt Tyrod. We were up 17 or 13 or 10-0 on the road. I went. This was Darnold's rookie year, so I was going through that thing. And Baker came in and rallied the team back, and the Browns won their first game in 20 games or whatever.
Something about the Jets launching careers of quarterbacks. I know this is the Bledsoe Brady thing too.
Yes, there's a very good history of that in Jets land. And so, I don't see it. And I don't know, Rico, I don't know why you would have caught Jets football this season, maybe the Thursday night game. Have you been able to see any Jets football? And what are you feeling about this game?
Honestly, to be honest, I haven't watched many Jets games, but a little out of the demographic, a little far away for us. But you know what? To be honest, I feel like just with any team, to be a professional and to be in the NFL, it means you're good in some ways. And I definitely think that a lot of teams. Houston sometimes. We've had games where we come off huge wins and then have big letdowns sometimes, which that kind of happens. But I think if with Tyrod, luckily, like the first game back, it really wasn't like an indicative of like what he had been doing with Houston. We got, I don't know if we got shut out or something like that, or, it was really a tough game to watch his return. But then like he kind of settled down and brought everybody in. I do expect to, have some big plays, hopefully, because that's kind of what's been missing a little bit on offense, a little bit of like the big plays, like the Brandon Cooks. Like I would like to see that duo get back to like in the first game he was catching 40-yard passes, jump balls type situations. So I would definitely like to see like some more like Brandon Cooks get involved.
Okay, I get Jets coming to this game 1-5 ATS in their last 6, Gary. In Houston though, 4-1 ATS in its last 5 home games. Now, Rico, do you like it more seeing Zach Wilson now under center, or would you have preferred to play like a Joe Flacco, who did a credible job last week in that loss, Gary, like almost 300 yards and a couple touchdowns, but Wilson 1-5 as a starter.
Don't forget though, Michael Carter has been the Jets offense in a lot of ways. He's now hurt. We're hurt like you can't fucking believe. We were bad, the youngest team in the NFL, and we're massively hurt. Lost our starting left tackle. Like this is a hurt, young, poor football team. So I don't know what Rico's going to say of what he'd prefer, but I can tell you this: the Michael Carter factor. He's been the offense.
Well, I feel like it's always a slippery slope of like when like a sports fan's like, oh, I prefer this player or this team to play against that, because that usually goes away all the way. It goes completely opposite of how you expect things to go out. So it's like I think for Zach, like. Like I kind of like going back to your point, Gary, where you had said like he got to like kind of see things. That's kind of a very important thing. Like kind of like not like Mahomes, but like in a sense of like Mahomes got to watch how things
Aaron
got
Rodgers. You kind of look around the league and you see the people that sat, and you're and listen, it goes both ways, but yeah, man, like Chad Pennington sat for 2 years. By the way, we took him in the first round the year that Brady went 6th round. Chad Pennington sat Chad Pennington sat for 2 years, and he came in and blitzed it. Like, I don't know if 4 games or 3 games or whatever it ended up being is enough, quote unquote, watching. But Rico, I think that is the point. It'd be interesting to see what, if anything, happens because of it.
It could definitely
it's been an extremely small sample size. So if you're a team out there, you see what he did in 6 games.
Hey,
there's
Rico,
no way you're like, oh my God,
pass rush.
Honestly, we get pretty deep. I feel like, especially just coming off from last game, how impressive it was, the defense. We were getting through to the second line. Like we were getting through. We were pressuring the quarterback. Tannehill really didn't have much room, but then when we did give him room, then he was able to kind of pick his spots. But then like once we started to bring that pressure back in, it was looking really decent. And again, it's like we go through these stretches sometimes in games where like our defense is suffocating. And like, it's weird. Like in some games, when I think it was Oh, it was either against Miami or the Patriots. Like, we had times where, like, we stopped them, like, both times on fourth down, like, at the goal line. Like, we stopped them dead at their tracks. And it's like
The Patriots.
Yeah.
They fumbled in the end zone. That was a game I really wanted.
And so
they
it's
have,
like
they have 21 They have 21 sacks, Gary. That ranks 20th in the league. So the middle of the package.
Middle of the
so
pack.
it's not bad, but it's like, I think
but, you know, sacks are a sneaky stat, right? It's really pressure and things of that nature. All right, Rico, we're going to run out of time in the show. We got to do the other game. Give me your prediction, your full score. What do you got?
Okay. Oh, full score. Okay, let's see. I think the Texans can build off of a good, impressive win. Kind of maybe get better on the offensive end, not just score, you know, certain amount. I think we go like maybe like 35, 38. You know, maybe Tyrod goes 2-something, maybe like 3 touchdowns. Hopefully. It would be great for my fantasy if he can like throw to like, you know, Brandon Cooks. You know what I mean? You know, fighting for a playoff spot. I'm just saying.
So you're hammering the over.
So what are you going, 38, 35?
That's what he had. Yes. Mark it down. Mark the tape.
Why not? Why not? I mean,
I love you for that.
Well, listen, also, I think because Zach, I think that's a surprise factor where he hasn't played much. He's been kind of injured through a stretch, kind of had a small sample size.
By the way, Rico, if the Jets put up 35 with Zach without Michael Carter this week at Houston, the game ends, and I'm going to start walking to Houston to kiss you on your face.
Okay.
Just on the record. Just be prepared.
The Jets did just hire his personal quarterback trainer, by the way, full time.
They did. So I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm going to go 25-10 Texans. I think that's where this game's going. This is the beauty of like being a diehard and really knowing your football team. The reason I am even palpable is because the Jets might have crushed this draft. Elijah Vera Tucker is out of his mind at guard. Elijah Moore is exactly what I knew he was. He had a $140 or whatever he had last week. He's a fucking player. I'm so excited. Michael Carter, the running back in the 4th round, is a beast. And that's where I'm going with this. He has been he is so good. Like, I can't believe. So, and then you got Michael Carter, the other one in the secondary. So the Jets had a big draft that I think we can build on. If Zach hits, then it's completely bananas. You got Becton coming back from the injury, who had a big rookie year. We'll see if he lives up to the hype. He had a great rookie year. So it's exciting for next year with 4 picks. Look at what's going on with Seattle. We traded Jamal for their pick. We traded Sam Darnold to the Panthers for their 2nd round pick. The way Carolina and the Seahawks are playing, the Jets are going to have 4 picks in the top 45 in this draft. So you can you hit pay dirt there, it gets going. So that was one long-winded way to say Michael Carter not being there is not going to allow the offense to get crazy, even if that plays decent, which is going to be hard off this break. So yeah, 25-10. And Rico, I just am so grateful for you being on the show. Real fan of your work. Keep going, brother.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I love talking sports. It's fun.
Rico, where can people like keep up with you here? Like, you active on Twitter, Instagram, anything like that? Any accounts you want to push real quick?
Yeah, Instagram and Twitter is the same handle @starring Rico. That's my handle.
I DM'd it this morning when we got confirmation.
All right, bro. You know what? I will answer that DM.
Yes, my friend.
I will answer that DM.
Right, let's move it on. Thanks, Rico. Talk to you soon.
Later, Rico. Yeah, we got 2 more guests now. We got another game. We're going to dive into a little AFC West, man, a little Chargers-Broncos. So, Daniel, if you're there, Benjamin, if you're there, turn your mics on, turn those cameras on, baby. So Daniel Wade, Locked On Chargers host. And then we got Benjamin Allbright, Broncos Insider, KOA Colorado. Gentlemen, big one coming up this weekend. And Daniel, I need to start with you. And Gary, feel free to obviously chime in here. Be honest, how much faith did you have in the Chargers to actually pull that one out the other night? That was unbelievable, dude.
Yeah, I would be lying if I said, there was a part where I'm like, how am I supposed to record this show tonight? Like, what do I even say to Charger fans at this point after seeing what they saw? We're coming off of a season where the Chargers blew 4 consecutive 16-point or greater leads. So it's not like this is a new story for the Chargers. And obviously, I think there's something to be said about, hey, you found a way to finish at the end. Give up 27 fourth quarter points, but you look at the defense's last 2 drives, you hold them to a field goal after that dumb 4th and 1 call, just a bad play call there. And at the end of the game with 2 minutes and 9 seconds, pretty much everyone's expecting the team that just scored 27 points in the fourth quarter to have plenty of time to come back and win that game with a touchdown, right? Or put that game away potentially. Yep. But Chargers, resilient, got the big play they needed from the end and held on. But I'd be lying if I said I was very confident, just because as someone who's followed the Chargers my whole life, I've seen that movie, a few times.
Yeah, for sure. Ben, what's the state of Bronco Nation right now? Been kind of like up and down for you guys out there.
Yeah, Broncos country beats the bad teams and can't beat the good teams unless you're Dallas. And that's kind of been the story of the year on this team. I mean, you got Teddy Bridgewater, who's kind of about as milk toast a quarterback as you can find out there. He's like I said, he takes advantage of the bad teams and just can't get it going against the good teams. Good teams know how to defend him. He doesn't have the velocity or the deep ball accuracy to do anything. They've got a strong run game, but they got an offensive coordinator that abandons it too quickly in Pat Shurmur. And that was a problem up there on purpose. Yeah, that was on purpose. And then, it's just tough because you got a good defense, you got a strong run game, you got good skill position players, you got a good offensive line. The thing is holding this team back as a quarterback. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater completes 67% of his passes on third down, but only converts 32% of those into first downs. That is an NFL worst over the last 30 years in terms of disparity. So they're going to have to find something at quarterback next year.
All right, so Chargers here, Gary, are actually a 3-point favorite on the road in the Mile High, over under. Totals 47.5. And then, you're looking at a Chargers minus 150 on the money line, plus 130 for the Broncos, Gary.
I think the Chargers really kick into gear this week. I think this is the week where I actually have this. I feel like they're going to go in and rivalry games in division on the road. Even when the Patriots are 80 times better than my Jets, it's still a tough game in New York. I have what Denver did at Dallas defense, but was so darn impressive. But I just think this Chargers team is going to win. I think they're going to win this game. And I actually think they're going to win this game meaningfully. I think that they're going to, I have a gut feeling that they're going to match up well this week, play well. So I'm feeling a lot of Chargers mojo as we go into this week.
Yeah, Daniel, they're putting.
Feels that way.
Yeah, Daniel, they're putting good news, 5-0.
Daniel, good news. 2 weeks ago on this show, I said that I had this funny feeling. Thank you, sir. Yeah. That the Falcons were going to scoop a turnover and stun Dallas on their back foot off of Denver, and I think the Cowboys won 45-3. So I would take nothing I just said in any shape or form as a good thing. Emerson.
Yeah. They have a 5-0 ATS winning streak against the AFC West. So, Daniel, is there any reason to believe your boys can't go in there and cover?
Oh,
cover.
For sure they could. I mean, I'll get to my final score later when we get to the full predictions. But when you look at Chargers games this year, it's hard to think of them handling a win, really running away with it. I mean, even you look back as last week, you had multiple chances, up 14 in the fourth quarter, up 7 in the fourth quarter late to put the game away, and they never did it, right? So I think that's one of the things that's hard. The only game they've won by more than a one possession game this year was against the Raiders on Monday Night Football. Every other single win that they have this year has been a one possession game. So I don't think that the Chargers are going to run away with it. I tend to run away from the Chargers against the spread, especially lately where they haven't been good, but against the AFC West, it has been better. I mean, I definitely think they could squeak out a 4-point win for sure, but to feel confident in that, given the inconsistencies we've seen from the Chargers this year, would be pretty, unlike what Charger fans have become accustomed to, I would say.
Yeah, Ben, you got to be thinking, though, maybe this could be a trap game for the Chargers, too, in the division, especially after that, emotional high, right?
That's why I actually like the Chargers this week. The trap was completely taken out by that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That's scary. These guys know that lingers with play. That's the last feeling they have. They got blitzed in that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
That spooks them. Ben, I see you want to say something.
Well, yeah, I know. I think so. I think Daniel was on the nail here. You talked about a wider possession or a wider score. Denver's a time of possession team. They eat up the clock with just agonizingly long drives and then settle for field goals. But, that's kind of the thing. The interesting thing about this is both teams are going to know the other's defense. Brandon Staley was the linebackers coach and the Vic Fangio protege. Both teams are going to know the other's defense. And the interesting thing I think about this is the Chargers can be run on. Is Linval going to be back for this game? Do we know? because they're missing bodies. Yeah, they're missing beef in the middle there.
Benjamin, but I think your point is the one that, again, I got to see the Broncos up close and personal early in the year. And you guys blew us out of the building as it's been going lately in Jets-Bronco games, as I have a best friend who's a Broncos fan. But I think they're going to rely on the run. They're going to be able to be run on. And I do think you've nailed it, which is kind of where I'm going. Like, I'll go with my score first. I actually have this game 28-12. And the way I have it in my head while I was thinking about it was they're going to settle for field goals on those run games. Like the Chargers, it's just the touchdowns. It is a classic touchdown versus field goals team. Obviously, it could be anything in between that, but I'm going with the 4 touchdowns versus the 4 field goals as like a statement to exactly what these two wildly knowledgeable fans have laid out. It is the game. The Broncos are not going to score in the red zone. They're just not.
Yeah. We obviously know, I think the talent on the Chargers side completely outweighs what the Broncos have. The assets, it feels like the Broncos have, maybe the only ones here, are coming off a bye and being at home. And
I also think the game that the Broncos just played with the Eagles gets replicated, like a very similar-ish kind of game. I really think the Chargers couldn't have gotten luckier. When I say lucky, they couldn't have been put in a better spot than the spookiness of the fourth quarter. I think you just don't leave that football game feeling phenomenal, which is the best because you put a W up on the board. And I think it's going to work to their advantage. That's my intuition.
Yeah. What do you think here, Ben? Any chance that your guys can hang in there?
I think Denver can do it. I think it's going to be I think the under is a mortal lock in this game. I think both teams are going to run the football.
Okay.
I think you're probably looking at a 24-20 game, and give me a coin flip on who it is. I'll take Denver since I'm from Denver, but it's a 50-50 here, and I think you're looking at a mortal lock on the under 24-20, something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Total again, 47.5. So Daniel, what about you, man? You got a prediction?
I literally had that prediction. I mean, my prediction was 24-20. I mean, you could go 24-21, but I think for me, it's the Chargers. I still wouldn't touch them as far as being the favorites in this game and the spread, but I would say that the bet I like the most and what you guys were sending over was that weekly special of teams both hitting 20 points. I think that's something you could definitely see because as good as that Chargers offense has been against, even when they've done really poorly against some good defensive coordinators who have disguised things and confused them a little bit. I mean, Patriots game, the Vikings game, they still got to 20. Right. Yeah. The other thing that they've allowed is other teams to get to 20 in every game but 2 so far this season in 6 straight. So that's a thing where if you see that bet on there, both teams scoring 20 with how poorly the Chargers defense has played at times, that's something I'm locking in for sure. But I definitely think, 24-20 sounds right to me.
That's on that is plus 100, Gary.
But I think, look, Steelers, Vikings, Eagles, Patriots, Ravens, Browns, these are different. Chargers. These are very different offenses, in my opinion, than Denver. By the way, Raiders 14 division rival. Teddy Bridgewater is like one of the nicest, best humans on all earth. So this sucks shit. And former Jet, and we did a nice job with that trade. So I'm very empathetic, Daniel, to what. By the way, so pissed that I didn't get to talk about my Colts Buffalo feeling last week because I watched the Buffalo game.
This is your podcast. You can talk about it now.
Yeah, fair enough. I told my brother, he got there for the Jets game yesterday or the other day. And I said, the Colts are going to beat the shit out of Buffalo in Buffalo. Yeah. And it was because I watched Buffalo stinks. How about that as a statement? Buffalo,
a hot take.
Yeah, it's a hot take.
Real hot.
Guys, they're not good. Every win they have is so subpar, except the Chiefs win, and the Chiefs, we can all agree at that moment, you contextualize it, are a different team that they've historically been and maybe who they even are right now. They haven't beaten a fucking team. And I actually think, for Daniel's point, I'm empathetic to that. He's watching the games, but those are real offenses in this NFL that put up those points. And I don't think the Denver Broncos is a real offense in this NFL, in the slang term that I'm using it, AKA they can run the ball. And I think with how beat up the Chargers are, I think Ben's point is right. And the talent at the running back position there is real. So I could get caught in a Taylor explosion game. So I can see it.
Sure.
But they haven't done it enough to make me think like that it's really going to happen. And I think this is the weeks in the NFL when things start to like materialize. And
Right.
my intuition is this is the week the Chargers make a statement, win by double digits on the road against a division rival, and start building on their train to a real playoff run.
I mean, I'd be surprised by it for sure. But I think the other thing too is the Chargers over the last 4 games, at least 3.7 yards per carry against them. 3 of those 4 games came with Linval Joseph, who's going to be missing this one, but definitely something to monitor. The plus, the other side of things is their defensive backfield has been terrible. The corners have been giving up big plays left and right. And their best corner so far this year is actually rookie Asante Samuel Jr., who just suffered his 2nd concussion in a month. So he's going to be missing this game as well. Their anchor in the middle, Linval Joseph. I mean, we're talking Chargers Jets here, right? I mean,
yeah,
I understand like you've gone through as many crazy losses
and Daniel,
as the Chargers
and by
fans
the way,
have. I mean,
you're the only guy I do like. My 10 best wins in my life were on the road in San Diego.
I was going to say, we've had terrible losses against the Jets.
Twice on the playoffs on the road. The kid missed that chip shot field goal in overtime. I remember it vividly, though Eric Barton bailed you out with the roughing the passer late there against Drew Brees. And then the greatest game of my life. I literally thought we were walking into that Chargers playoff game. You'd won 11 in a row, even though we had Revis and Rex and all that. I just saw no scenario of winning that game. Winning that game was remarkable. I love San Diego. I know you're in LA now. On the flip side, the Broncos have been beating the piss out of us.
Yeah.
Which,
and by the way,
98 championship game, which I went to after having 104 temperature, is still one of the most disappointing moments of my life. We're up 10-0 late in that AFC championship game with the Vikings losing to the Falcons earlier in the day, which made no sense. So that is a negative feeling towards the Broncos.
And Broncos, they do hold a 5-3 advantage in the AFC West rivalry since the Chargers relocated, just because that came up. Herbert 3-1 on the road this year, and a quarterback rating on the road of, well, north of 100. That's not bad.
He's a beast. Huge pick. Boy, did Miami bail them out. And like, it's a franchise changer. He's got it. It's just obvious at this point, and
especially if he uses his legs like that too. I mean, that's just something we hadn't seen. 90 rushing yards, first quarterback ever with 350 plus and 90 on the ground. I mean, if he opens up that,
and he's got that classic like Eli thing. He's got that weird demeanor where you kind of like, he's just like chill and like, the whole thing's good up in
chill's a good demeanor.
All right, let's get out of here, boys. Thank you so much. I gotta boost something. I know what I gotta do. Bye, man. Thank you. Oh, did we get their scores?
Dudes. Yeah. We got their scores. I was just gonna ask them real quick.
I remember.
If Ben, where people can find you on Twitter.
You can unfollow me at Allbright NFL. My Twitter account's a dumpster fire, so nobody should be subjected to that.
All right. What about you, Mr. Wade?
I don't want to take as much heat on Twitter as Benjamin Allbright, that's for sure. But you can find me on Twitter at Dan Talk Sports. Subscribe for free anywhere. Locked On Chargers podcast. You can find me there. Thank you, guys.
I gotta say, I gotta give Benjamin a ton of credit. He went with self-deprecating. That was actually very ego-driven. You can unfollow. He made the assumption that everybody who's listening is following. I actually thought that was one of the more clever sentences I'd heard in a while. Great work, Benjamin.
You're the first person to point that out. I've been using that for years. You're the first person to catch me on it. So good job.
I'm a behavioral scientist.
Oh, damn.
Truth.
We'll see you soon.
Dropping the bone.
All right, later, guys. Gary,
what do I want to
pick an odds boost, dude? Let's do it.
What do you got? Give me some options for what we just heard.
All right, so Texans to score 20 points first. That's plus 100.
I want to boost that.
Okay, what's that?
I want to boost that.
That's it. Texans to score 21st.
That's
20 points first.
Lock,
that's gonna be plus.
That's the lock of the century.
All right. I mean, producer Drew, that's it, dude.
Drew,
lock it in. That was super
Emerson, give
easy.
us the call off. We'll see you guys next week. Give us the final things you have to say.
Yeah. So, by the way, everyone needs to be following you on social media and on Twitter because you're going to be tweeting out the link, right, to the contest for all of the followers and listeners here this week. First place prize winner going to be able to take home a 2013 DeAndre Hopkins rookie card.
It's a good card.
And that's autographed, right?
Yeah, it's a big card.
All right. Yeah, sweet. Awesome. And that's what we have. It works out well because, we're playing the Texans. I say we, and I mean you.
Yes.
But all right,
Love
dude.
you.
Love you too, man.
Great job.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm gonna
Bye,
miss
everyone.
you.
We'll see you next
I'll
week.
I'll tweet you, Gary.
Please,
I'll tweet
please.
you. All right,
I'll see you
bye.
there. Bye. Bye, guys.
You or someone you know has a gambling problem. Crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in Illinois, Indiana, New Jersey, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wyoming. 1-800-522-4700 in New Hampshire and Colorado. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Idaho. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-800-532-3500 in Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. Call and text the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789 or call 888-789-7777 and visit ccpg.org/chat for Connecticut. Available to play in Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia only. Must be 21 years or older or 18 plus in New Hampshire and Wyoming. For entertainment purposes only. No results guaranteed. Void where prohibited. Eligibility restrictions apply. See www.draftkings.com/sportsbook for full details. Odds and lines are subject to change.